what helps? Having the right magazine for the right gun.
Yeah, that helps. Irrelevant. Well, I know that my Walther mags, and there's one other, my CZ mags almost look identical. Yeah.
Welcome back, everybody. We're going back down the road of nothing but hard choices here today, comparing the CZ P10F to the Walther PDP. I've been getting a bunch of requests to start comparing the Walther to other pistols, and it seems the ones that come up most are the P10 series. A couple things we got to take into account here is, one, the CZ is known for being the portly one on the playground. It's slightly larger than the similar offerings from other manufacturers that are in that same kind of size category, whether it's full size or compact. And the Walther does come in the full size 4-inch and then the full size 5-inch. So there are different variations of these out there. But being that these are both kind of geared towards that law enforcement duty market out there, and that's kind of how they have been marketed, I ran these like duty pistols out there with plenty of flubs on the range for you guys to make fun of, because that's just the kind of day I was having out there. Before we get into these up close, I want to give a huge shout to today's sponsor, which is Groove Life. If you don't know who they are, they make these cool silicone rings right here that are breathable because they've got these nice little kind of ventilation holes in them, and they are way more comfortable than your traditional style metal rings out there. They also make that groove belt with that slick magnetic buckle, ultra thin, flexible, great for light EDC carry. I wear it all the time with my 43X MOS. Solid setup there. Awesome company, lifetime warranty on their products. They believe in inspiring adventure and having things that you can actually wear while you're out there having that adventure. So check them out at the link in the description if you are into the Groove Life stuff. All right, so let's go ahead and compare these things up close so you can get a good idea in case you are looking at both of these or just want to know more about one or the other. All right, let's get down and dirty with the Walther PDP and the CZ P10F. A couple quick things. I'm gonna list all the specs, length, weight, all that good stuff over here on the sides for you to check out. The PDP does come in a 5-inch version. This is the full size 4-inch. The P10F is one size only, and it's a big boy. Rivals a Glock 34 in size. Also, you'll notice there are different triggers in here for testing, but I don't think anyone's gonna have any complaints with either of the factory triggers in here. So let's go ahead and talk about the Walther first. And what we'll get here on the Walther, magazine wise, you're gonna get metal mags. These ones have the blue followers. The original ones were kind of that orangish, pinkish red color. If you have those, Walther will send you out a third magazine and the new followers and springs and all that stuff to put in there and use. Just a little tip for you guys. Talking about the rest of the Walther right here, got that great grip texture, and they have put grip texture all the way around that grip, which is awesome. Even really up high right here, just gives you traction everywhere your meat is gonna be touching this pistol. You do have these side swells right here, which I'm normally not a huge fan of finger grooves or side swells. It's actually very comfortable. Got a big, amply knurled magazine release right there. Plenty of duck build trigger guard right there to kind of make sure you don't activate that big old mag release on accident. Nice wide trigger guard right here. So sometimes like Glocks and other manufacturers have a small trigger guard. You got bigger fingers, that can be a problem. Plenty of room to work with here. Plenty of pick slots right there for you to hook everything you want on the front end of this pistol. Mag release is single-sided. You do have ambi slide stop slide release right there. And of course, pretty standard takedown right here for the Walther PDP. Moving up into that slide, it's very standard when it comes to kind of logos, but Walther does do the kind of colored inlay stuff. That's kind of their thing. These serrations on this thing are sick. They are huge and deep. And I know some people don't like them. I kind of dig them. So instead of being cut into the slide, they're extruded out of the slide, which is pretty cool because it gives you a ton of traction. Walther will send you one plate with this pistol, and it does come factory-wise with plastic adjustable sights. These are the Walther kind of mid-height sights to get a low witness through the optic itself. That is the Walther optic plate in there. There are companies offering other ones now, along with other stuff like triggers, and I'm sure tons of stuff is going to be coming out for this pistol. Overall, very solid. Had great experiences with it so far. Wearing in quite nice. No other problems. So talking about the big differences, CZ, you're going to get two of these big old 19 rounders. The Walthers are 18s. They will have that high vis kind of orange red follower in it. We will get interchangeable back straps. We do get a nice, pretty aggressive texture all the way around when it comes to the CZ P10F, but definitely far less than when it comes to the PDP. Again, you have a single-sided magazine release, and you will have an ambi slide stop slide release. Now these are the aftermarket ones from Apex, but I have a stand-in here. My CZ P10C has the factory slide stop slide release and the factory mag release. So you can see pretty close to the side of the slide and the frame right there, which is why I went to the aftermarket ones, because some people don't dig the CZ ones. I just wanted to test them out. So moving up from there, you can see you got a little bit of that same texture right here for your indexing of your thumb when you're in that firing grip. More grip, the better off you are. Got a couple slots of rail up there for all of your accessories. Pretty standard takedown lever right there. If you want to see the takedowns and the breakdowns of these individually, those are in the individual video, which I will leave linked down below for you. Coming upstairs, we've got some very nice serrations on the rear and the front, and the slides kind of chamfered off a little bit more towards the front. So SIG kind of does that same thing right there. This is the CZ Custom Shops plate right there. You have to buy your own plates when it comes to the CZ. It does come with a factory front night sight on there, but as you can see, no co-witnessing once you put the optic on there, so maybe taller sights or something would be cool. Other than that, same thing. We got a very nice trigger guard here, ample size, ample length to get my big old fat fingers in there, which is going to be solid. So the differences between the two, now, like I said, Walther does have a 5-inch version. So there's going to be quite a difference between these two, as you can see, because this is the full size 4-inch. There's a lot of size difference between the two of these pistols, but as I said before, CZ is kind of known as that big thick girl on the playground. You guys kind of a side look there. That's a lot of slide, but you can get the Walther in the bigger version. And then you're going to have a little bit more length when it comes to the P10. You can see the base plate sticking out there. It's just a big grip. So that is the Walther in my hand, and that is the P10F in my hand. So there's quite a difference. The other thing you will notice between the two is you're going to see that bore axis, right? So the Walther is going to be quite a bit taller on the bore axis, a little bit more weight upstairs compared to the CZ P10F and the P10 series as a whole. But quite honestly, if you're gripping onto the thing and you're holding it, it'll feel different, but it's not really going to affect your speed or your accuracy. So now that you know kind of the big differences between these, let's talk about the range footage, how they feel, advantages of one over the other, and of course, that price point. Lots of good stuff going on there with both of them, but some pretty stark differences. So the PDP, I find this thing extremely natural out there in the range. The point of aim just seems to be right there, even though it does have a little bit more of kind of that recoil impulse, definitely a little bit more muzzle rise on it, but I find myself being able to run it just as fast. Overall, the grip texture on the PDP is absolutely outstanding. It's wrapped around everywhere, massive mag release button, and I find the thing just very easy to run out there. I love the serrations on this. I know some people think it's kind of ugly. I dig them. I've had a couple times out there where I've been running different drills and those serrations have come in super handy, and it's just a lot to get a hold of. Maybe a little bit much for some people, but I definitely dig them. Now, as far as reliability and performance for the Walther, performance is great. The reliability has been 100%. Now, if you watched my original video on the Walther, I did have the issue in store where we noticed the slide was actually stripped out from the factory. That was returned to them. I never purchased it, and then Walther sent a completely different one, which is the one that I bought and is in my hand right here. But reliability-wise, been absolutely flawless on the range with all of the ammo that I've thrown at it, from duty ammo to the basic ball stuff that we're all using most of the time anyways. Now, when it comes to the P10F, this is the big hammer. Look how much grip hangs off from my big old size hands. Compare that quickly to the Walther PDP right there. You can see there is a pretty significant size difference in this thing. It's easy to control because of that extra weight and that little bit longer of a slide. Super easy to control out there. Less muzzle flip than the 4-inch version of the Walther, Walther also has the 5-inch version as well though, which is going to calm down a little bit as well. When it comes to the grip, I do find the Walther has a little bit better grip on it compared to the CZ. But again, the ergonomics and the natural way that the CZs line up on me is absolutely great, and I have zero issues with any kind of malfunctions or ammo or anything out there on the range. This one's been in my collection for a couple of years now, and it's been a constant performer and one of my favorites to run out there because of the size and how much fun it is. Now, when it comes to the triggers on these right out of the box, I don't think you're gonna have any complaints on them. As you can see, I've got some different stuff in there for testing, but by no means are the factory triggers on these bad. I will say I do think the PDP has a better factory trigger right out of the box, and they do have that Walther PDP performance trigger that will go in there, which is a factory part, which is really cool that they're doing that. So there's a little bit of an edge there if you are a trigger snob, but quite honestly, I don't think anyone's gonna have any complaints with either of the factory triggers from the P10F or the PDP. Now, talking about the cost of these two, I looked it up right before filming the video, but remember, things are just all over the place right now and have been for a couple years. The PDP I found for $5.99 and the P10F was $6.59, so a little bit more expensive, although it does come with factory night sights, but those night sights aren't usable once you put the optic on there. They will not co-witness. And the PDP came with factory plastic adjustable sights, and I currently have the Walther branded kind of mid-height sights to use with the optics. So a little bit of price difference. You are getting a night sight, but not really usable with an optic, and you bought an optics ready pistol. So CZ, maybe put taller night sights on them from the factory since it's an optic gun. I don't know, just a thought. And when it comes to choosing one or the other, people love to say, if you could only have one. Well, I have both, and I can have both, and so can you. If you're gonna have one over the other, you've gotta get these things in your hand, whether it's a range rental, buddy you borrowed it from, or even just doing some dry fire in the shop to see which one is going to work out best for you, because what I may like may not be what you like. So definitely test them out for yourself if at all possible, because the last thing you wanna do is get something and then realize you don't like it and then have to trade it in or sell it and get something else. Well, that is what I have for you all today. Make sure you leave me a comment. Let me know which one of these you are checking out, or if you're looking at both of them. Go ahead and get subscribed, turn the notifications on, and give the video a like. All that stuff helps out the channel. You want to support the channel anyway, you can use any of the links down below or at my website or the Patreon. You can check all that stuff out. And of course, if you want to see the individual reviews on this stuff, I will link those down below for you to check out. You guys get out there, have some fun on the range. Remember, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. That is a big stick. I will see you guys on the next one.